And welcome back, everyone. iTalk 106.7 FM, the voice of the mountain. We are having a great show talking to ranchers, farmers, folks up there in the Holbrook area specifically. We've also got Donna here, Waschek, and we're talking about the solar fields and the wind farms that are going in and the huge concerns. And, I just think people need to picture what these lands and what it's going to do to our wildlife and Casey, you have a good story about antelope, right?
Yeah. Here where I'm at, I'm just north of the Interstate 40. And on the ranch, growing up as a kid, there were never any pronghorn antelope on this side of the interstate. And Granddad had always told me that the antelope herds got split up when they built the interstate and they can't get across the interstate. And about 20 years ago, I saw a pair, a buck and a doe antelope, the first I'd seen on this side of the interstate, in my life, and I'm in my 50s, so it's been a while. and pretty soon that, within the next few years, that buck and doe turned into a little herd. We've got a little herd of them on this side. And I kind of take care of them. I try to keep the coyotes off of them. I'm kind of proud of those antelope. And they're going to be pushed out.
Yeah.
If this Orsted thing comes in, they'll have no place to go. I don't know where they'll go. Maybe they can get to the reservation. I don't know. But they won't stay here. And I think that's just kind of sad.
It's very sad, and all of us need to think about Norway and look up on Google and, all the reindeer with their wind turbines. You got to remember, this is 50-year-old technology, and it hasn't worked in other places, and people have abandoned it. But now we're taking it on because it's a money grab for the $98 billion. But the Norway, all their reindeer migrated out of the country, and they're known for their reindeer. So now they've full stop on all wind turbines that are still, and they're taking them down, trying to get their reindeer back. And that happens. And there have been so many stories like this. I mean, who wants to live under big wind turbines with blinking lights and the sound they make? Are you going to live there, or are you going to migrate off, Now, you guys also talked about that this is going to create some problems for hunters.
Oh, definitely. Where they're building out or where they're doing this last solar project and starting the 144 wind towers out at West Camp, that was prime hunting ground for Holbrook area residents, Snowflake residents. I mean, that was good hunting out there, Joseph City, and that's all gone now. Those herds have migrated. Plus, they've got everything out there all fenced off. They got main roads that you can travel on, but all the rest of it's all fenced off. You can't do anything. So that hunting area for local residents, but that's been there forever, is gone, and that's sad. But in lieu of that, I'm going to tell you something else on this stuff. Is the Holbrook residents take some fantastic pictures at night of the sun going down and whatnot. Beautiful, beautiful pictures. And now when you take them out there, all you have is these red blinking lights. And I've actually had more than one people tell me that traveling up from Heber, coming home to Holbrook at night with all those blinking lights is a traffic hazard, terrible traffic hazard, because one of them actually said it gives her bad headaches trying to get from Heber up to Holbrook.
Yeah, we have heard a lot of that too, and how people move away. And if you look at areas where they've put in a lot of windmills where people were living, they all abandon them and they leave. They sell and they leave. Sell at a much discounted rate, obviously, and they run away. And that's super sad too. And right now there's a big onslaught, a big push. These foreign companies are trying to, sweet talk people out in Concho, everywhere else, paying for different things and trying to sweet talk everybody with money and everything else to try to buy their way. And guys, they'll just be gone in 2 years, and it's sad.
It's my understanding the developers who come in, get the permits, get the land, establish all the relationships with the ranchers and the landowners, they actually create create this whole thing. They set it up, they build it, and then they have to find somebody who will run it and buy it from them. But in the process of doing this, they get 20% of the cost. So if it costs them $100 million to create a wind farm, they get 20% in their pocket. So what do they care about buying some donuts and water and barbecue to have these community meetings and revamp the Springerville Chamber of Commerce building, and we're going to, pay for a new community center? I mean, it's a drop in the bucket for them. And all these guys coming in, they're from New York, they're from back east, they're from, this one gentleman, Jesse Groner, he's the owner of Triple Oaks Power, and he worked for years up in the Northwest for a power company, and went out on his own and started his own power development company. He's basically the one behind the Rocking Horse.
And they try to say they're American companies, and they're not.
No,
they're just the shells for the foreign companies, the Spanish companies, and all these foreign companies, because it's so easy then for them to bankrupt. And that has been the MO all along. And I can't believe we're so stupid to be jumping in line. But it's a big money grab.
It is.
And everybody that's passing it and doing it and all of these things, they'll move far away from the wind turbines, and they'll move far away, and that'll be that.
And that's why I don't get the Board of Supervisors approving this, because they're all from here.
No, they're going to move away. They're part of it. That's the problem.
Our supervisors are going to move away, Daryl.
They're part of the whole thing. They started Real AZ. You got to remember that Jason Whiting. But Jason Whiting hired him, and Jason Whiting was the head of Real AZ. He's been on their board the whole time, and he says here, and the radio station says that's not a conflict of interest. So they laid this whole thing out, and the renewables, they did it. They're for it.
They're selling us out.
Yeah, they're not trying to help us. They're just being nice and saying what they need to say. They started Real AZ, and that's been the big promotion. Leon, I wanted to hear from you. What are your thoughts on kind of losing your possible legacy in ranching and hunting in this area?
So I'm a fifth generation Arizonan. My family settled in Woodruff, and Zenith was actually the other one, which is Dry Lake in that area. And so it's really hard and disheartening to see the changes that are taking place, not only here locally, but with the surrounding communities as well. So all this hunting and being able to see the wildlife, it's definitely something that's going to be disheartening to a lot of people. And those people that come out of Phoenix to come hunt up here, they're not going to be able to come here and do that kind of stuff. Our locals that are participating in those same type of activities are going to be in the same boat, and it's just, it's super disheartening. I think about, my ancestors and when they moved into this country, the excitement they had for the changes and the things that they wanted to bring on, but they were always, for the next generation and the things that was going to help them the most. So the things I look at is, we need to bring jobs to this part of the country, and I'll be the first to tell anybody, I've got two sons that had to leave because there's no jobs here.
Yeah.
And we're focusing on solar and windmills, but they don't bring any jobs. There's nothing here. We're giving these guys our property and our lands, and the state's just letting them do whatever they want to do with that, but they're not helping us, and they're not helping our families that are looking for jobs that want to stay in this part of the country.
Right, exactly. And wind and solar, there's no jobs. Even the people that build the substations, I've met several of them. I had them in, they're all coming out of Texas. Those crews are all out of Texas. There's a little bit of, a few construction jobs that are local and given to some, but some of the big contracts have already been sold out to a Colorado company and, from out of state. It's a very sad thing all the way around. And I think the biggest thing is when you mention about, your kids and your children, and that's what we all think about as our future. We're going to take a short break and we'll come back and have our last segment. This has been a great show with our ranchers and farmers. And guys, keep it right here. You're listening to iTalk 106.7 FM, the voice of the mountain.